Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ACW Newscast 31. I am Hakeem Johnson, your ACW commentator as always, and we welcome you, like I said, to the 31st episode of the ACW Newscast. Today we are going to go over this past weekend's WWE Royal Rumble, what it means for WrestleMania 28, which is coming to you April 1st of this year on pay-per-view. Also, we are going to go over the news of the United States shutting down 16 sport piracy websites just weeks, basically days before the Super Bowl, and how that's going to affect the fight that we in ACW continue to have on. And plus, we'll also go through your questions and comments, which we will do right now. So we're going to go into the ACW YouTube comment box here. We're going to start it off right now with your questions and comments. Let me see here. I gotta pick the recent ones because because we got a lot of comments actually this week. So we're trying to pick the ones that are most recent, the ones that we've gotten most recently. Okay, here we go. Um, Brian Enraged 96, a staunch fan of ACW. He said a lot has happened this week in ACW. The formation of Saiyan Legacy, Hollywood Gohan, which he calls him, and Vegeta. The Straw Hat Crew finds out that Pokemon's own Ash and Brock were the very people responsible for swerving them on numerous occasions. Then, to add insult to injury, he thinks that they are going to form a Four Kids World Order, as he names it. Broly's 3-year reign of terror ends. Haru's getting screwed by Roger Smith on Excel. I believe that most fans do. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of the anime civil war. So, basically what Brian Rage feels is that there's been a lot of stuff happening in ACW programming as of late, as he just stated. On Excel last week, Haru Glory was banned from the Excel Arena in order of Roger Smith to avoid any more confrontations from now until ACW Fusion. Also on the Impulse side as well, a lot of things happened on our latest episode, Impulse 28, which will go down, in my opinion, as one of the most historic episodes in ACW history, not just in Impulse. But a lot of stuff happened. You had new Impulse Tag Team Champions in Ness and Lucas of Earthbound. The reveal of Ash Ketchum and Brock as the people that have distracted and sabotaged the Straw Hat Crew's efforts to get anywhere in ACW as of late. We have a new ACW television champion in Mugen as he defeated, let me say that again, as he defeated Broly, pinned him with the help of the returning Trunks. Trunks, a guy that hasn't been back in ACW for about 3 years now, came back and cost Broly not only his first loss, but cost Broly the ACW Television Championship, which now resides with Mugen. So there's going to be a lot of tension. There's going to be a lot of anticipation. There's going to be a lot of expectations going into Impulse 29, which will be posted on Sunday this week due to delays, which I will also get to in this newscast. So a lot of things have been happening here. Where this goes from here, I'm not sure. Where the progress of ACW Excel and Impulse goes, we're not sure. But I can tell you right now, we are on the road to ACW Fusion, one of the big 4 mega events of ACW. You know, Fusion will be uploaded 2 weeks from this Sunday. So, that'll be a lot. There'll be a lot of stuff happening beforehand. So, all I can tell everyone is that just buckle up your seatbelts and just relax for the ride, because it's going to be a wild one for sure. I have no doubt about it. FlukeDog08, the founder of TNAX, the owner of the call league TNAX, says that, let me get this straight. If that was ACW Animania 3 commercial, he's talking about the recent one, the Three Doors Down version, which is by the way, for those who don't know, the official theme song for Animania 3 is Three Doors Down, The Champion and Me, which was actually used in the 2008 Olympics. But then what about the high-tech New York version that I watched on Vio? Remake that commercial from 2009 to 2012. What happened was that we did the high-tech commercial, New York, which was at the time supposed to be one of the official songs for the for ACW Animania 3. But as you guys know, we had our 2.5-year hiatus. That was made before our hiatus, and when we came back, it still says 2009, even though it's now 2012, obviously. So, but I'm glad that you actually mentioned that, because we did remake that commercial, which will be posted in a few days here on YouTube or Blue TV or wherever you're watching it from. So, we kind of had this set up beforehand, so that we did remake the commercial. We'll be uploading it sometime soon, within a few days. Um, Q9854 says Impulse 28 was a historic episode I will never forget. I'm happy that Mugen beat Broly and won the TV title thanks to Trunks, and the Earthbound won the tag team titles from the White Tigers. Ryu beat the living hell out of Vegeta, and Gohan. I don't know what to say about Gohan. I wonder what his family has to say about him, just like Bobby Roode's family have. Um, you know, um, I'm just, uh, yeah. Again, Impulse 28. Impulse 28 was a historic event. There's nothing you can't say. There's nothing short of what you can say about that episode, but it's historic. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened. There wasn't one thing that didn't happen that made you think, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe I missed that." Everything happened for a reason, and I'm just glad that ACW Impulse is getting a lot of traction from that episode. And again, like I said, just tune in this Sunday when Impulse 29 will be uploaded, and it'll be something. I hope it'll be something to enjoy for ACW as we go into the Road to Fusion. And what's up with that fat Mega Man? If you've seen the trailer for Street Fighter X Tekken, you'll know what I mean. I have not seen that trailer yet. Obviously, I will see it after this newscast, but I'll see about it. I'll try to get back to you on that on the next episode of the newscast. Let's see. Adria Barre, another long-time ACW fan, has said, "Hey Hakeem, what recorder do you use, and what's a good one for someone on a budget?" Um, that's a good question. Even though I always get these kind of questions. I always get these questions almost every time. What's the best capture card? The capture card I use is WinTV, the Hopog. I know it's hard to spell, but if you just type WinTV, you'll get it. But it's called the Hopog WinTV. It's the latest version, I think, WinTV 10. I don't use the internal. I don't use the internal software anymore. I mean, sorry, hardware. I don't use the internal hardware anymore like I did before for ACW. I now use the USB version of it now. So now I'm able to do more stuff with it, and that's how you see those great HD graphics you get on ACW. But in terms of budget, I'm not sure because I usually just stick with Hop Hog products. But you can go to eBay or Amazon or Fry's Electronics and try to see if you can get a bargain for a TV tuner card out there because there are some that you can get on a budget. These Hop Hog ones cost a little bit much, and since these are the USB ones, they cost a little bit more than say the internal hardware. But other than that, yeah, just search onto Fry's Electronics, Best Buy, Amazon, eBay, and always look at the ones that the users mostly like, that have the most positive views, that have the most positive reviews, that have the most positive standings with the people that try to auction from them. Don't get like a random ass one that says it's 100% good quality and then you buy it and then you open it and it sucks. Because there's a lot of those that try to screw you over. But other than that, just search around. You'll find it. I bet you'll find one. And hopefully you get a recorder that's to your liking, and hopefully we can see another person step into the realm of colleagues because we appreciate the more competition, the more the better. Joshua Jacker V5 says, "Why is Ash the bad guy? I would be okay with Static Shock being the supporter for 4Kids, but I shouldn't complain. At least Ash is in ACW, hopefully for good." Trunks came back and kicked Broly's ass. Epic. Roger Smith is a dumb Twinkie. And Brian and Rage 96 had an epic idea, which I will get to in a few minutes here. APA, Anime Protection Agency, Mugen and Trunks. Sounds badass. What do you think? Well, here's Brian and Rage's 96 idea. Trunks and Mugen for Impulse Tag Team Champions. I think they would form a bounty hunting group known as the APA, Anime Protection Agency. I bet you that they would even make commercial with the APA theme in the background, endorsing the Anime Protection Agency. Something along the lines of, got anime that needs protected, watch your manga stage from 4Kids Entertainment, then get Anime Protection Agency. Again, I love you guys. I love you HCW fans for all the ideas you always give to me. I honestly, you guys will give me some of the best ideas that I will hear, even better ideas than I have. And I just laugh because it's always so creative you guys are, and even I borrow some of your ideas because I know they're that great. So I think it's awesome. I think it's funny, and who knows? Maybe I might do something like that in near the foreseeable future. Who knows? You may never know. So There you go. So there's your questions and comments for today for this ACW Newscast edition. Once again, always send your ACW Newscast questions and comments on the video description where it tells you to put them there, and I'll always read them for next week. Quick note here before we go on to anything else. I need to mention something. Now, lately we've been having these delays for ACW. I understand that. I pretty much warned you guys this would happen. The thing of the matter is that I am a college student, and college is starting to come back now. Now we're into a month of college, and now the work pile is starting to pile up again, and I'm actually gonna have to do some homework, actually do some legit work that will have to delay some stuff about ACW. So hopefully you guys understand, but obviously it's life over ACW, and everyone should agree to that. But yeah, I'm just gonna there's gonna be some short delays. It shouldn't be much. It shouldn't be a lot of shouldn't be a lot of delays. If there's delays, understand that's why. There's gonna be a lot of stuff piling up from college that I have to do, and other stuff that I will have to do. So I apologize for any of the delays in advance, but that's just how it's gonna be for a while. So apologies are in order in advance. Now we're gonna quickly go over this little bit of news that happened this week, and the news just keep coming up, don't they? We're gonna talk about this news about how the U.S. is starting to shut down certain piracy websites. So I'm just gonna read a few things from here from Reuters or from Yahoo News here. 3 days before the Super Bowl, U.S. prosecutors said they seized 16 websites that illegally streamed live sports and pay-per-view events over the internet and charged a Michigan man with running 9 of those websites. According to the government, the 16 websites provided links to give viewers easy access to other sites that hosted pirated telecasts from the National Football League (NFL), National Basketball Association (NBA), National Hockey League (NHL), World Wrestling Entertainment Inc. (WWE), and TNA Impact Wrestling (TNA). The latter is also broadcast on Viacom Inc.'s Spike TV. Prosecutors said such piracy costs leagues and broadcasters millions of dollars a year, and some of this cost is passed on to ticket buyers and sports network subscribers. The websites are FirstRow.tv, FirstRowSports.com, FirstRowSports.net, FirstRowSports.tv, HQStreams.tv, RobPlay.tv, SoccerTV.live.net, Sports95.com, Sports95.net, Sports95.org, SportsWWE.net, SportsWWE.tv, SportsWWE.com, X1Sports.tv, UWWE.com, and UWWE.net. The defendant charged in the case is Yonjo Kiora, 28, who faces one count of criminal charge infringement of a copyright. Prosecutors said Kiora, also known as Ronaldo Solano, operated his website from his home in Comstock Park, Michigan, prior to his Wednesday arrest, receiving at least $1,300,000 from online merchants who advertised with him. The complaint against Kiora outlines his alleged piracy efforts from February 2010 to January 2012. It concludes by saying a U.S. Department of Homeland Security enforcement agent posing as a WWE representative last week offered to buy various domain names associated with the defendant and received a response offering to make a deal. Prosecutors will seek the forfeiture of the domain names for the 16 sized websites. The government had announced the seizure of 10 other websites said to pirate sports events exactly 1 year ago, shortly before Super Bowl XLV 35. Let me see here. The case is U.S. v. Kiora, U.S. District Court, Southern District of New York, number 12, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so there you go. Basically, you have it. So we're about 3 days away from the Super Bowl that's going to happen, which I'll just give my opinion right now. I'm not excited for this year's Super Bowl. My Broncos, even though they did a great job, got really ass raped by the Patriots, who I extremely have so much loathing for. I don't hate anybody or anything, just I have extreme dislikes for the Patriots and especially Tom Brady. Don't get me wrong, he's one of the best quarterbacks of this decade. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I just hate him. Well, not hate him, but you know what I mean. So it's gonna be the Patriots and Giants. You know what I mean? It's not, you know what I mean? It would have been fine if the Niners or the Ravens had made it to the Super Bowl, even though I really don't like the Niners either, but it would have been interesting, you know what I mean? But now we're getting these two these two powerhouse teams instead of any underdogs that could possibly win the Super Bowl. So, anyways, let me put aside my rant there for a minute. But back to the issue at hand. Um, Again, this is again the fallout from SOPA being shelved. It's interesting. All this stuff is happening ever since SOPA had been enacted to be passed. There was the campaign to stop SOPA and the Protect IP Act as well, and also having the blackout day for the internet, which ACW participated as well, as you all know. And SOPA and Piper were shelved, but now ever since there has been a domino effect of sorts, because the day after the blackout with the internet, Mega Upload was shut down for those possible same reasons that these websites are being accused for, as Mega Upload was shut down because of conspiracy of copyright infringement and racketeering and all those other charges. And now you have this with First Sports Row. I will tell you that I mean, who else? I mean, we all use Sports Row, First Sports Row for WWE and TNA stuff, and now I gotta look for other stuff. But that's the point I'm trying to make here. Just because you shut down like 16 sports piracy websites doesn't mean that there's 100. For every one you shut down, there's 5 more that's gonna be created the next day. So this doesn't solve the problem. I hope the government doesn't think that that seizing these websites is gonna actually end the practice of piracy on the internet. It's not gonna happen. Piracy is something that you cannot stop. It's just like when people say you. It's just like when people say you can stop terrorism. You can't stop terrorism. You can suppress it, but you cannot stop it. It's something that will always be there. As you know, controversial that point is, that's just how it is. Same thing with piracy on the internet. You cannot stop piracy. There's going to be ways, there's going to be certain options and opportunities for people to watch certain things without legally obtaining them or legally purchasing them. There's just going to be certain ways where you're gonna have to you're gonna do some sort of piracy, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Now, I mean, it's fine to have a bill to address the issue, but SOPA and PIPA weren't, and now ACTA as well. Those are not the ways to address it. Those are just harboring on our freedom with the internet and our freedom period with the Constitution. That doesn't really solve the problem because piracy will still be active. Even then, when you put strict restrictions onto the internet, there will still be piracy, and it can get more out of control than before if you try to contain it into a thing where you want to stop it. You can't stop this thing. You just can't do it. So, I hope the government knows that this is not going to be something you can stop by just seizing piracy websites. That's just my opinion. So, we'll keep you up to date on that news as always, like we always do. Finally, we're going to go over the WWE Royal Rumble that came out this past weekend. A lackluster pay-per-view to say the least. CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler was a good match, not a great match. They've had better matches before. CM Punk retains the title after some wacky shenanigans from Johnny Ace, and and again, Dolph Ziggler being treated. I personally thought Dolph Ziggler didn't get to show off his no pun intended, didn't get to show off what he can really do in the ring. And again, like I said, they've had better matches. And then Dolph Ziggler enters the Rumble and then gets squashed by Karma and gets eliminated. That was even worse. So that set back Dolph Ziggler a couple of notches in my opinion. The World Heavyweight Championship match was way too short. I mean, I understand you have Big Show and Mark Henry, so they can't do a lot, but still, it was way too short for a World Heavyweight title match, especially for it to be in a steel cage match. Daniel Bryan wins it, obviously, and Daniel Bryan, which I believe will carry that title all the way till WrestleMania 28. The same thing with CM Punk with the WWE title. And then the last match that really mattered was the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble was a good. I'll tell you this. It was a fun Rumble. I wouldn't say it was a good Rumble because there was a lot of lack of star power. I mean, you don't have HBK, you don't have Batista, you don't have Edge, you don't have Rey Mysterio, you don't have JBL, you don't have Jeff Hardy, you don't have, Taker. Well, until this past Monday, you don't have Triple H, you don't have these big names that can really carry a star power such as that. And you had John Cena and Kane do their own thing in their match, which was just ridiculous as well. So this Royal Rumble was lacking in certain ways. The only stars you really had there were Randy Orton, and it was in his hometown of St. Louis. Sheamus and Chris Jericho. Who else? The Miz. I guess Wade Barrett, Mick Foley. That was really it. Like that in terms of big recognizable names, I guess that was really it. But it came down to the final two, Sheamus and Chris Jericho. Great back and forth. I was at the edge of my seat. Sheamus actually wins with the bro kick on the Jericho, eliminating him. I predicted that Sheamus, Orton, or Jericho was going to win the Rumble, as you guys remember last week. All three of my guys were in the final four, as I predicted. Because again, like I said, those were the only three that could make sense winning the Rumble. So obviously, but Sheamus wins, and you know what? Good for Sheamus. You know what? I think Sheamus deserves it. I think the WWE wants to create Sheamus as a big star, and this is the way you do it. You don't overdo it and rush it like you did with ADR. By the way, Ricardo, you are awesome. That Royal Rumble appearance. You are awesome. That's all. Anyone that watched the Royal Rumble knows what I'm talking about. That's basically it. But Sheamus was the Rumble. I wanted Jericho to win it because I thought he would after what he said on Monday last week. But I'm fine with Sheamus. That's not a problem with me. So that means Sheamus will face Daniel Bryan. So here's the prediction, and I want you guys to predict the WrestleMania card from right now after the Royal Rumble. I want you guys to post your WrestleMania card on this video. But here's my opinion. Here's my card so far. John Cena and The Rock will be the main event. That's official, obviously. Um, you will have CM Punk facing Chris Jericho and for the WWE Championship. You will have Daniel Bryan defended against Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship. Those two should be locked. Based off what's going on from Raw this past Monday, you will get The Undertaker and Triple H for the third freaking time at WrestleMania, which I really don't want, but whatever. I think that's gonna happen as well. Um, I also think we're gonna see Dolph Ziggler versus Mick Foley in some sort of hardcore match at WrestleMania to elevate Dolph Ziggler into something bigger. Cody Rhodes, I think, will face his brother Goldust for the IC Championship because it's really the only thing that makes sense for Cody Rhodes to do for the road to WrestleMania. Randy Orton will face Ray Barrett to end their feud once and for all. Wade Barrett and Randy Orton will go at it one more time at WrestleMania, I believe. Big Show will have a celebrity match with Shaquille O'Neal, which is being rumored, which I'm actually interested in seeing because I really do like Big Show, with the exception of that sumo match at WrestleMania 21. Oh my God, I really don't need to see like that anymore. But Big Show's good in those celebrity spots. I thoroughly enjoyed his match with Floyd Mayweather, I believe, in WrestleMania 24. That was entertaining to me. So this with Shaq should be no different. And I think, and the last one, in my opinion, will be The Miz taking on R-Truth at WrestleMania as well. And how far has The Miz fallen? Last year, he was the WWE champion. People wanted this man gone. People hated this man, truly hated this man. He had heat to the nine. And now he barely gets a reaction, and he's losing to Kofi Kingston and R-Truth of all people. And now he's going to get a WrestleMania match against R-Truth this year, when last year he headlined the main event with John Cena. Granted, it was mostly about John Cena versus The Rock, really. But still, Miz headlined the main event and came in with the WWE Championship and walked out as still WWE Champion. And now he's going to be succumb to a lower mid-card match with R-Truth, and he's going to possibly lose there too. Tough times for The Miz. So, but that's my WrestleMania 28 card this year. That's how I see it going down. And honestly, that is a great card. In my opinion, I think it's way better, obviously, than WrestleMania 27. Anything is better than WrestleMania 27. That's how disappointing and lackluster WrestleMania 27 was. But I want to know what you guys think. You just post your opinions and your match card, below here on the ACW Newscast 31 episode here. And just tell me what you think. So, that'll be it for the ACW Newscast here. I am Hakeem Johnson, your ACW commentator as always, telling you always to stay cool. Stay cool. See you next week.